What's up guys, this is Dave Marshall with the RC Air Marshall YouTube channel, and you are watching the Spektrum AR637T Programming Series. In this installment we're going to be discussing how to set up more advanced in-flight gain adjustments than what's offered during the first time setup. Before we go over to the IX12 to start the forward programming process, I want to talk about who this video is going to be applicable to. So depending on the type of aircraft that you have the AR637T installed in, is really going to depend on how many channels you're going to need to take advantage of some of the things that we're going to discuss in this video. For the purposes of this video, we have our AR637T installed in an e-flite Commander MPD, which is a 5-channel aircraft that has throttle, aileron, elevator, rudder, and flaps. In order for us to get some of the most basic functionality out of an AR637T, we're going to need an additional channel for our mode selection, right, where we can attach that to a switch or we can attach it to the flight modes of the transmitter. Now, if one of your modes is a safe mode and you want to be able to instantly switch to that safe mode in the event of a runaway aircraft or whatever, you lose orientation of the aircraft or whatever the case may be, you may also want a panic button, which also requires an additional channel. And if you want to have in-flight gain adjustments where all of your gains are tied to a knob, a slider, a trimmer, or however you can achieve that gain adjustment in the aircraft, you're going to need another channel for your gain adjustment. Now, by default, the AR637T is set up with basically a global single gain adjustment. So when I turn the knob, it adjusts the gains for all 3 of my axes. And what we're going to be showing you in the video is how to separate out all of those channels where we can have an individual gain adjustment on each one of your axes. So your roll, pitch, and yaw axis will all have individual gain adjustments. Now, in order to do that, we need an individual channel available for each one of those gain adjusters. So if you're keeping count, if we're running, say, a 6-channel airplane, and we're taking advantage of all of the features that the AR637T has available for us, we would need throttle, aileron, elevator, rudder, flaps, and your landing gear. And for the functions of the AR637T, we also need our mode select switch, our panic button, your gain for your roll axis, your gain for your pitch axis, and another gain for your yaw axis. So that is 11 channels that it would take to be able to have individual gain adjusters for each of these axes. So if you're running a 6-channel airplane on a DX8 or a DX9, you probably won't be able to take advantage of these features that we're going to be going over in this video. So for the most part, just to recap this kind of longer introduction, this video is going to be applicable to people who are running, say, a 4-channel aircraft on a 9-channel transmitter, a 5-channel aircraft on a 10-channel transmitter, or a 6-channel aircraft on an 11-channel transmitter. So for the most part, I would say that this is going to be applicable to people who are running DX9s, IX12s, DX18s, IX20s, people that have more advanced transmitters. So with all that said, we're going to shift over to the IX12 and show you how to take advantage of the advanced gain adjustment settings within the AR637T. Alright guys, so we're here looking at the dashboard of the IX12, and I've got my Commander MPD model selected, and that is what we have our AR637T installed in. So one of the applications for these more advanced gain settings that I wanted to kind of cover real quick is when we are first setting up our model, and it's not a model that there's an existing profile for, we're setting up, say, a plug-and-play model, something like that. What we're going to want to do is adjust our gains for the aircraft once we get it in the air. So we would take off with no gains applied, adjust the gains until we see some oscillation in that axis, back the gains off a bit until it's flying nice and smooth, and that's where we want the gain set for that particular axis, whether that be roll, pitch, or yaw. So what the AR637T allows us to do is assign an individual channel that allows us to adjust all of those gains in flight independently. Now that's very convenient when you're setting up a brand new model and you don't know what the gains need to be. You can send the airplane up, you can have everything dialed down to 0, you can start dialing those gains up until you see those oscillations, and then go on to your next control surface. Now that we have that out of the way, I want to go ahead and set up the IX12 for adjusting all three gains independently. Right now I just have a single gain adjustment channel set up on my right knob of the IX12. So what we're going to do is we're going to set up the right and left sliders on the back of the IX12 to control a couple of extra channels that we can assign in forward programming. So we're going to go first into model setup. We'll just tap model setup there on the bottom of the screen, and we'll go into channel assign. We'll long hit proceed. And now that we're in channel assign, we can see, as I mentioned in the beginning of the video, this is a 5-channel airplane, so I'm not using the gear channel for control surfaces, right, or for any particular function on the airplane. So I've got my throttle, aileron, elevator, rudder on channels 1 through 4 as per normal. My gear channel I'm using as my flight mode channel, where I can change the flight modes using the number 5 channel. AUX1 is set up as flaps. AUX2 is my panic switch, which is the button, the I button. AUX3 is my right knob. And you'll see that AUX4 and AUX5 are set to inhibit right now. And what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and assign our sliders to AUX4 and AUX5. So we would just tap where it says inhibit. We'll exercise the right slider. It'll automatically assign the right slider to AUX4. We can go to AUX5 where it says inhibit, to tap inhibit, and exercise that left slider, and now it will automatically assign the left slider to AUX5. So now you'll see that we have the right knob on AUX3, right slider on AUX4, and the left slider on AUX5. That's exactly what we want. So now that we're back on the dashboard, let's go over to monitor. And those last 3 channels, we should be able to see being exercised by those adjustment points, right? So right now I'm exercising the right knob. I've got it turned all the way up and it sends it up to 100. I turn it all the way down. We go to -100, so that gives us the full range of adjustment there. We'll go ahead and exercise the right slider, which is on AUX4, and we can see that we've got our full range of adjustment there. And we'll exercise the left slider as well. Now we can go into forward programming and assign those aux channels to adjust the 3 axes independently. So let's go into model adjust, forward programming. We'll go into gyro settings, and to set up those gain adjustments, we're going to go into system setup, gain channel select. Right, so right now we see that all of our gain channels for roll, pitch, and yaw are set up on AUX3. We're going to go and tap AUX3 next to where it has AUX3 for the pitch axis. Now it'll bring up a little user interface, a little window here where we can go through and start tapping away and trying to find the aux channel that we have that switch assigned to, or we can just exercise the right slider. So for pitch, I want that to be on the right slider. So if I exercise the right slider, it automatically detects which channel is getting moved around and it assigns it to that aux channel. So our right slider's on AUX4, it automatically brings up AUX4 when we exercise that, and we'll hit OK. Now for AUX3, we're just going to tap it, exercise that left slider, it automatically detects it as AUX5, we'll hit OK. So right now you can see that we have AUX3 set up for the roll axis, which is our right knob, aux4 is set up for the pitch axis, which is our right slider. aux5 is set up for the yaw, which is our left slider. Now from here, we want to go ahead and set up our gains to be adjustable, or verify that they're set up to be adjustable. So what we'll do is we'll go back and we'll go to AS3X settings under our gyro settings menu. And you'll see towards the bottom of the menu here, we've got fixed and adjustable gains. We'll go ahead and click on that. And for flight mode 2, which is our AS3X flight mode, we have all of our gains set to be adjustable. So I want to go ahead and explain, kind of what we're doing when we're adjusting these gains in flight and how I set up new models. So we'll go back, and the way to really show this is first we'll look at AS3X gains, and we can see that they're set to 76% for the roll, 90% for the pitch, and 80% for the yaw. Now, because all of my gains right now are set to be adjustable, if I turn all of those sliders and knobs down to their lowest values, if we go into capture gyro gains, this is where we can see the effects of our knobs and sliders. So under capture gyro gains, I can see that my roll, pitch, and yaw are basically at the bottom. I'm going to go ahead and exercise the right knob, and we should see the value for the roll axis start to go up. Now, what we have right here, where it stops at 76, my right knob is all the way up. So what it means by relative is that you have the full adjustment value for the set gain value. So you can only go down, and at 100%, you are at 100% of the set gain value. So if you set your gain to 76%, the highest it will ever go is 76%. If I do the right slider, I should see my pitch values go up, which we do. And if I adjust my left slider, I'll see those yaw gains start to go up. So now that we've seen the knobs in action and working, we're going to go over my process for setting up a new aircraft. So what I will do, and just kind of follow along with me here for a second because it will make sense, I promise, is I will go into the AS3X gains, and we're back at the AS3X gains for flight mode 2, which is the flight mode for AS3X only. And I will turn all of my gains to 100%. And we'll go ahead and hit OK. So we've adjusted all the gains up to 100%. And what that does is, if we go back in here to the capture gyro gains screen, as I adjust each of my axes as I'm flying the plane, so I will take the plane off for its adjustment flight, for its gain adjustment flight. I will take the plane off, I'll get it, 2 mistakes high, and trim the plane out, get everything flying good with no gyro settings at all, get everything flying the way I expect it to. And then what I will do is I will start adjusting the roll axis first. So I'll adjust that right knob, and typically I'll be using my left hand to adjust that right knob, and I've got the throttle pinned. So typically when I'm adjusting my gains, I want the plane to be going at its fastest possible speed. Because what we're gaining from that is by nailing the throttle and hitting it at 100% of the throttle, the plane should not be having any other forces induced greater than that point when you're going as fast as possible. So I'll go ahead and set the gains at the maximum speed that the plane can travel. So I'll turn up that gain until I see, the wings my roll axis start to oscillate a little bit, and what that means is the wings will kind of rock back and forth, and when you see that, you can back off those gains until the wings are nice and steady, and then we can move immediately on to our pitch axis, which I can adjust with that right slider. I'll get it where what you'll see when it reaches the point of too much gain is the airplane will start to porpoise, so it will start to pitch up and down, and we don't want that. We'll adjust it to the right value, back off just a little bit until the plane's flying nice and true. And then the last one that we'll adjust is our yaw axis. And what we'll do is we'll just start turning up that yaw axis until the aircraft starts to wag the tail around a little bit. It'll basically start oscillating the tail with the rudder as it's trying to overcorrect. Then we can back those gains down a little bit from that point to the plane is flying nice and true. And now we have all of our gains, but that's not where we want to stop, right? So here we can see in the capture gyro gains section the values that we ended up with after the flight. So if our roll is at 47%, our pitch is at 31%, and our yaw is at 60%, we don't have to go back into the AS3X settings and set each one of those values. In fact, let's go ahead and go back to the AS3X gains, because if we look there, we're going to see that all of our AS3X gains are still set at 100%. We don't want that. So when we go into capture gyro gains, what happens is you see where it says capture gyro gains at the bottom, right? So because we have those adjustable gain settings, whatever the knobs are set at, so our right knob and our two sliders for adjusting those gains, whatever those are set at, when we hit capture gyro gains, all right, it says gains on flight mode 2 were captured and changed from adjustable to fixed. So what it did was it assigned the roll, pitch, and yaw axis that you see here to the AS3X gains. So if we go into the AS3X gains now, we'll see that they're set to 47, 31, and 60, which is what we were looking at in the capture gyro gain screen. And we go back again, and we can look at our fixed and adjustable gain because we had them set to adjustable for flight mode 2. So if we look here, again, we can see that all three of those values have been changed to fixed at this point. While that is a lot of talking, just a quick recap. My process when I'm setting up a new aircraft is to go into the AS3X gains, set all of them to 100%. So we'll just go through, do this all real quick because I want to kind of display, how fast this process is as well when I'm not just talking about it. So we'll go back, we'll set the fixed and adjustable gains to adjustable for all three axes. We'll go back. We'll fly the aircraft. We'll be setting our, our sliders and our knobs as we adjust those axes. I'm just doing some random stuff on the wheel right now. Then we'll go back in. We'll go to our gyro settings, AS3X settings, capture gyro gains. We'll see what those values are at. So we're at 61, 80, and 66. Hit capture gyro gains down at the bottom. It sets all the gains up, changes everything from adjustable to fixed, and you're done. So the reason that I go through that is to show you guys that yes, while these videos take some time to explain what we're doing, the process is actually very fast once you get kind of used to doing it. All right, so that's how you do all of the settings inside the radio to set up your advanced gain settings within forward programming. If you guys have any questions, be sure to leave those down in the comments. If you guys are interested in purchasing the AR637T or the IX12 or any of the other items that we feature on our channels, be sure to check down in the description for links to those items at Horizon Hobby. Now, those are affiliate links and they pay a small commission to me when you use them, and we certainly appreciate you supporting the channel. So a couple of other ways that you guys can support the channel now. If you guys are interested in picking up some t-shirts, we got pillows, we got all kinds of different merch at the RC Air Marshal merch store. You can check out the Teespring link in the description of the video. And also, we now have channel memberships available for those of you. For a small monthly fee, starting at $1.99 a month, you can sign up to become a member of the RC Air Marshal YouTube channel. And all of those proceeds go back to support the channel. And like I said before, we absolutely appreciate your support and thank you. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, click the notification icon so you're always made aware when new videos come out. And we will see you guys in the next one.